What's going on, everyone? I hope you all liked the brake video. Parachute mounting. Now, a lot of you, I don't know how many of you, a lot of people don't need a parachute. You only need a parachute 150 in the quarter mile. I want to say it's don't hold me on the eighth mile, but I want to say 130. I'm not 100% sure. I never really did anything eighth mile. I've never raced eighth mile, and I never really looked up the rules for eighth mile, but I think it's 130 in the eighth and 150 in the quarter. Now, there's a couple things a parachute can do for you. Parachutes aren't band-aids for bad brake systems. My car's got bad brake system in it right now, so it's a little bit of a band-aid. But that will change once we start going faster and faster. Parachute's meant to just slow you down. That's all it is. You get some of these short shutdown tracks out there where, you know, you got to be chopping that chute at like 1,000 foot so that thing's fully blossomed. Some tracks you don't need it. You know, you go to Maryland, they got like 3/4 of a mile of shutdown. Unless you're doing over 200 miles an hour, I wouldn't even use my parachute there. But I would use it, and this is my favorite benefit of parachute, if you start to get out of control. If you're at 800 foot out, you're 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour, and you start skating, something happens and your ass end is all over the road. If you drop this parachute, and once it hits, it's going to straighten your car right back out. It's like having a trailer behind your truck and it starts to sway, you just mash the throttle, it straightens right back out. That's what this will do for you. It will save you 9 times out of 10. I've seen it countless times. I've seen people who didn't use it and they could have been saved and they ended up wrecking their car. On the flip side to that is, you always want to drive into your parachute. What I mean by that is, you don't want to wait, okay, there's the finish line, let off the gas, throw my parachute. That's not what you want to do. You want to see, okay, finish line's 100 feet ahead, throw the parachute, you feel the hit from the parachute, it's fully blossomed, then you let off your throttle. If you don't have this thing mounted right in the right space, it can cause a lot of damage to you and to your car. I've seen parachutes pick up the ass end of cars and send them into other lanes. That's more of an import thing, front wheel drive thing, where they're really, really light in the ass. I haven't seen it as much in domestics because so much weight's back there, and they're just heavier to begin with. But yeah, I've seen it. I've seen a parachute wreck a car. Now, there's many different ways to mount a parachute, and as long as you follow the rules, those are all correct. It's up to you. If you're buying someone's kit, if you're building your own kit, if your car came with it, it's really up to you, as long as it's safe and it meets the rules. Now, there's 3 different types of parachute launchers. I think it's 3. This is a pilot chute. So when you pull the pin on this, a little spring pops out that's got a little parachute on it that bumbles down the track, that catch wind, and what that does, it drags the rest of the chute out of the bag. It's like 80% of what people run. They're the cheaper of the ones. There's not much to them. I mean, this is it right here. You bolt it to the bag. You bolt it to your mount, and you bolt it down on the bottom, and you run your cable, and you're done. Now, the thing I don't like about the pilot chutes is that spring. So if you've never packed a chute before, what happens is, so you roll up your whole chute, you get it all in the D-bag, you bring it all up to your car, and now you got this spring, and it's like this long. You got to put that into the bag now. So you're holding a parachute. Now, mind you, the car's on the ground, so you're down low to begin with. You got to compress that whole spring inside the bag in front of the parachute and then fold your flaps in and get a pin in. I've been hit in the face with it. I've seen countless people's hit in the face with it. I've seen countless people drop it right back on the ground, and here comes your whole parachute back out again. Not the whole thing, but it makes it a pain in the ass. I don't like this style parachute. They're easy to do. I've packed it probably, hundreds of times. It's just not the most economical way. So, and then you can go up to your spring launcher. Now, you might have seen them. These are the ones with the mechanical spring launcher. I'm sorry. The big cans on the back here. They got big aluminum cans. That's a mechanical chute. And what that is inside that can, there's that big spring. And what you do is you crank that bad boy in, all the way in, and you put a lock pin in that thing to hold it in. And then you could just pack your chute all nicey nice, put it up in the bag, and just stick it in there and fold the flaps, and you don't have to worry about this thing smashing you in the face. Yeah, but it's simple to use. It's much simpler than this. And then you have your air launcher, which is almost the same concept as the mechanical launcher, but instead of this big giant can, you have like a 1 1¼ inch tube, a pneumatic cylinder that has a rod in it with a big round plate on it. And what it is, it's air triggered. So you got this thing coming down, air line running to it. You got to have an air tank in the car, and you pull the handle, and that thing's, once you got the press, you got an arming switch. So you de-arm it, you push the piston in, you fold up your whole chute, nice. You don't have to worry about taking a spring to the face, and you fold it up in the bag. You get all your flaps done, you pin in, you arm the chute. Now it's putting the pressure on it. And when you release it, that thing flies out. So, I mean, it's going to be based up onto you. This is the cheapest of the options. This is like 400 something bucks. The other ones are over 700. The other two are nicer. I like the other two. This one's kind of a pain in the butt, even though almost every single person uses one. Now, if you have this style parachute and you want to go to the other style, you might have to change your mounts. If you can see, it's bolted right in the center of the pack. And on all those other mounts, you got the cylinders coming through the center of the pack. I've seen people notch out the bag up here. I've seen them just cut this off and put a Y on it. I've seen all sorts of things. I won't even talk about any other parachute but a Stroud. Stroud makes the best parachutes on the market. They're the easiest to pack. They hit the softest. We're going to cut that off because what we're doing is we're upgrading to a Team Z parachute kit. This is their bag holder, their parachute holder. It's all chromoly, I believe. It bolts to the factory license plate frame location. It also bolts down to your anchor point for your parachute. You're going to want to paint this. It's already starting to rust a little bit here in the garage. It's nice. It's got tabs welded onto it to bolt your parachute to. This is a nice, it's light. I like it. It bolts to the upper, and what I'll do is I'm going to drill holes in the lower here. Now the other half of this kit is the bumper bar. So what this does is it bolts into the place of your factory bumper beam. I got to cut this out of the way to start bolting it down. But you want to take off your rear bumper. You want to take out the bumper support, the whole crash bar back there, and you'll be left with these. Now, that's not the right way. That's already been turned horizontal. You can see this one's kind of vertical. These are like pistons. You can spin these. This one doesn't spin by hand. This is why it takes so long to build a car. Turn that thing sideways, it's now hitting on my fuel pump fitting. Okay, we're going to go over cutting the bumper on this. This is a very tedious process. This is something you want to measure 100 million times. I promise you on this. This might need to be spread just a touch. That's going to sit. Run into a little bit of a problem here. She's got Rusty sitting here. Alright, so I figured it out. I just got to re-drill this. You know, I don't know what happened. It's not right. Something's wrong. Something here. But it's off by, you know, a half an inch. So you can see the hole there. And I don't know if you can tell where my scrapes are. But I pulled it out that far. And everything lined up. What I did was I just drilled another hole in it. It's half inch, or yeah, it was half inch. Drill another hole. I actually have to go touch up the edges because it's too tight now. One thing I didn't even think to tell you guys last night was you can't put your license plate on with this parachute bracket. For some people that's a big ass problem. For me, not so much. I really don't care. I will make a bracket that either holds it off the bottom of this or off to the side of this or yada yada yada. One of the cool things about this mount is, alright, when you get it, you see that through there? You know what that's for? That's for a go-kart push kit. So you'd have the rod on the front of your go-kart, and the pin goes up, slides through that to hold the rod so you could push it around the golf cart. That'll probably never happen because on top of everything else I gotta buy, go-kart's last on the list, and I only have a 1500 series truck, so I'm probably only gonna buy an 18-foot open trailer right now. I want a 24-foot enclosed, but see how my bank account's set up. That's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. As you can see what we're working with here. I don't know if this chamber is pressurized, but I know you can just spin this. So I'm gonna drill a hole in it carefully, grind all this off, put a couple welds on it. That's it. That's all you gotta do. 10 minutes. Done. Somehow, some way, all three of my shop carts are covered in crap. So, I got a pocket full of shit.
Let's go!
But take your Sharpie, get under there, make sure your bumper's on right, make sure that crash support, the parachute bar's straight. Remember I told you you could use this as a pretty decent center line, this indent right here. That's a pretty good center line. I have a hole previously from the old chute mount, which kind of sucks because this chute mount sits about 80% lower than this one. So my hole is going to be more down here now for the new Team Z one. But I'll build a little plate, nice little, you know, I'll probably make like a carbon plate or something and black rivet it to the bumper so it seals up the hole and it looks okay. You want to take your time here. This will show your attention to detail. What I do, and someone pressed on this bumper hard, the paint's all cracked around this hole. But what I do is I tape this whole thing off masking tape. From the back side, I take a hole saw, whatever size your tube is, take a hole saw, drill it don't go up to the hole saw part. Just get your center with the drill bit and drill it right through. When you come to this side, what I do is I flip the drill bit on reverse and give it a couple of spins backwards to cut the paint, but it won't flake all the paint off. I do the same thing with fiberglass and all that stuff, and it gets a smoother edge. Once you get that paint ripped through, then you can flip the drill and go the other way and make your hole. It seems to come out nicer. You can see my crude drawing there. You can see the hole I told you about. So now I'm going to tape it off. Try to tape it off. 1.5 inch, because I forgot these wander a little bit. So this is 1.5 inch tube. This thing will wallow out a little bit bigger. Find your hole. Well, like I told you, you do that, you won't chip any of your paint. See how perfect that is? Not a single little chip. I gotta do a little bit more cleaning up in here because it's plastic. That looks stupid, huh? Cover that with something. Perfect fit. 1.5 inch hole saw. Perfect. Let's put this on the car, even though the wife texted me and told me dinner's ready. For everything, take your time, measure everything again. It's attention to detail. That's all it is. Just think about it. It's not hard. If you do this right, if you take your time, you will have perfect results. I mean, you don't get much better than that. It kind of sucks that I got this hole up here, but there's nothing I can do about that unless I change the bumper cover. You gotta do one other thing. You don't have to. I think you should. You see it on my old chute mount. Just weld one of these bad boys on. This holds your cable. You got your cable coming through the body right here and looping around. When that thing pulls, that cable is going to be whipping all over the place. You don't want that. You want to have it pull and just right here. So I think NHRA rule says something has to be held within 10 or 12 inches. Okay guys, I'm going to go finish welding this up. I'm going to wrap up this video, get this edited up, get it up online for you. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy everything that's going on. We're this close to driving this car. It bothers me so bad how close we are to driving it. I got to put the suspension right front back together because I can't put those new spindles on there. Fix the coolant leak, and I got to order my brake lines. Have Derek come down, fix the tune-up in it, mount my fuel cell. And I think that's pretty much it. And I can drive it. I honestly forgot about the fuel cell until I popped the trunk again. So we're close. It's winter time. It's cold, but I'm gonna take this thing for around the block, as long as there's not snow on the roads, pretty much, and in my driveway, because I do such a crap job at doing that. Anyways, have a great night, guys. Get in the garage, work on your hot rod, crack a cold beer, and enjoy it.